All right, so guys, I just want to build on that. I just want to build on that for a moment, right? The other side of Superman is about being you at all times, holistically, and in every way. So it's all right to feel how you feel. See, it's all right to express what you need to express, but you gotta make sure to do it in spaces that allows for that, or it only drives deeper insecurities, right? So you gotta have somebody to tap into. Like you gotta have that big homie. Like, see, that's what we come out of. Like we're tribal people. We practice communalism. All right. So when we tapped into that big homie and told them how we feel, they didn't make us feel bad about it. Right? See, they said, okay, shit, young cat, I feel you. Shit, back in '73, I had this XYZ, man. She hurt me bad, bro. So I feel you. Right? So we actually looking for that license to be open in every way, but we don't have that due to the breakdown, right? So that's what this circle right here is about. So I want to hear y'all stories. I want to hear where y'all at, right? Whether it's through heartbreak, whether it's through having a situation with something or somebody that created that insecurity. I want to know where y'all at on that, so we can build on some real conversation. Yeah, bro, talk to us.
Yeah, not even anything personal, but this book I'm reading, The Color of Money. She's just talking about how her book is T. Washington believe, capitalism can make white people, make you equal. They're gonna respect you out of that. I think part of the insecurities that we might have stems from the fact that we have an implicit understanding that no matter how much we do, we're perceived as not good enough. You take care of your family, or you may not be doing this and doing that, and then your lady make you feel like you're not good enough. It's like, damn, how much I got to do? I'm good. All this stuff I be seeing, people that treat their lady bad, people that do this, do that. It's like, I feel like I'm not good enough no matter what I do. So I feel like part of that insecurity you talk about might stem from some of that.
No doubt.
Personally, I don't even know. I got to think a little bit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man. 'Cause that's what we want, man. We want real stories, man. Like a part of being fake is not being able to acknowledge all of yourself. All right. So what we here to say is that that's all right, right? Like folks look at me and they say, okay, well, shit, Sinsear got it together, man. Sinsear done been through some shit. That's an absolute fact to be able to get here. Like you don't understand what kind of storm I done been through, and I'm willing to acknowledge that. So jump on in here, brother.
When I think about it, I think words that, and you and I was talking about this, words that we have to become comfortable with as men, is that vulnerability.
No doubt.
It don't make you no sucker, make you no pussy, it don't make you none of that. Right. Vulnerability just means that you feel something. Because something that was said earlier, I forget which one of the brothers that said, I think it was Donald when he said, you have to understand that kind of stoicness where you don't feel the emotion. And so much of us, through this cultural learning, like everything I take, I'm an African to my soul. So I hear outside sources, I hear whatever may be Christian, whatever may be Arab, I hear that. But to me, that's a bastardized version, so ain't nothing like the real version. So everything I do, I take it in through my African eye. And we have to come back to understanding that if you don't feel nothing, you dead. So that's what they did to us. They made us learn to feel nothing. When we were coming up in the 80s and 90s, the type of music that programmed us, that made us, the one I said, the Snoop Dogg effect, what's that favorite phrase? We don't what? We don't love them hoes.
We don't love them hoes, no
so
doubt.
We took that, and we ate that. And we said, oh, we ain't got, you felt like a sucker if you felt feelings for emotion for a woman. And that's Eurocentric.
No
doubt.
doubt.
They hate their women, and one of the main points I point out is like Married for Children. When we looked at Al Bundy's makeup, he'd rather be shot in the head before he had sex with his wife. Where he always wanted to be, with his men.
Right.
So we have to understand how a lot of this stuff came to us. And through when I talk about vulnerability, and I say, okay, well, once we transition over to our Africanness, did we just read a couple of books and say, okay, strap some kente cloth on? Damn, I got an uncle. Damn, I'm feeling mighty African today.
Right. Right.
Or did we go through a cleansing where we get all that white terrorism out of us? And there's a lot of it in us. So the more in that, we got to start spitting this white supremacy up out of us. Feel what I'm saying? So a lot of that is getting back to understand it's okay to feel stuff. Hell, I went through a breakup and I talk about it to the brother.
Right.
And it was like sometimes I had to call, Sinsear, what you think about this? Shit, Andre, what you think about this? Ken, what you think? Ken, my brother. Hell, I done talk to Ken for hours about stuff. It's okay to talk about it. Weakness make us stronger. You know what I'm saying? Make sense?
Yeah.
Makes sense, man.
Yeah, no doubt. The same thing that makes us strong is the same thing that makes us weak.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got to deal with that. Like what you see here is birth from pain,
Yeah.
right? So we, at some point, we got to be able to get over that pain. And when I say get over it, not like some trash on the ground when you step over it. Like I'm talking about healing.
Like getting through it, that's the other word, healing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Jump on in here and we come to you, brother.
So on that is that a lot of times it's just that you always have two choices. It's just if it's gonna beat you down and you're not gonna get back up from it, or you're gonna use that and get healed and then be able to do greater things, right? So
No doubt.
we all do, my man know my story. I did 20 years in the joint, right? So being in prison, one thing I had to learn was it was very difficult, right? Because the biggest thing is loneliness, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I tell people in prison through false victim of homosexuality, it's not through they're getting raped or anything, it's through the people are giving them with emotion. They're suckering them into, hey, here goes something, because everybody's cold in there, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
So that's why we be
right.
like, yo, don't even talk to them, don't even have no conversation, you know what I'm saying? You guys don't talk to them, you know what I'm saying? So that's just real talk, you know what I'm saying? Right. How you gonna fall victim, you know what I mean? So you don't even, hey, I got doing business, that's the farthest we're gonna go, but we're not gonna have no conversation, we're not gonna do none of that because they're trying to get you where, because you're in a lonely state, you have to be cold. That's how they be doing it, right? So just saying that the pain that we have, a lot of people, you can't be controlled by that emotion. That's what women do. Sometimes they get controlled by the emotion. We see it flashing out. We have to be strong. It's not to not feel. It's not to not have emotion. It's just not to be driven and make crazy decisions based on emotion. You know what I'm saying? The emotion just used to fuel us, to drive us. When you get passionate, it makes you hyper to even be better. He had the passion. I was emotional. I was passionate, but he wasn't controlled by it. It was driven to make him even go harder. And when we get, that energy and emotion that we do. So I think a lot of times we don't understand that all of these things are powers that are given to us.
No doubt.
And we're just not understanding how we're gonna use them. I just think of all those superhero movies when the people come out and they have a fireball or all that just emotion that they're driven and you have it focused. But when it goes crazy, like a Gene Ray or something like that, when you don't got no control over it, it just destroys everybody.
I like that.
You know what I mean? But when you got the power, you can direct it anywhere and say, yo, like my man said, I can put my mind to it. All that is fueled by emotion, because it's not just fueled by, I just want to be a great actor. No, I want to be great at it. I love it. I care for it. Whatever we're doing. So, like, I just told my story about being in there, because being in there, what I had to learn was, first I was stoic. You know what I'm saying? I used to read books, and even just Waliba Baruti, you know what I'm saying? Just reading those books and just understanding the commitment to community. Because first it was just like, yo, I'm just gonna get money and be hard.
Right.
And, what I'm saying? My man, because he
Word up.
told me how I was. You know what I'm saying?
Word up.
I was just disciplined. I still am. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just being, but it wasn't. But it was just to be by myself. It wasn't. There was no greater purpose or passion to say, yo, I love my people, and that all these things that we talk about, that we all play a part, and we have to be men and be dedicated to using that emotion, using that love in the correct way, and using that power that it gives us. Because when you don't have emotion, you don't get to tap into that full power. When you don't have that energy, when you don't have that full emotion, you can't be as powerful as you really can when you use that emotion and you drive it to somewhere else. That's what I've just found in my life as I continue to tap into it. Talking to these brothers, having these conversations, and because you've been locked up emotionally so long, because you're like, I'm not feeling nothing. I don't care about nobody. I'm, say it's dog-eat-dog world, and but now you're like, all right, that's not gonna make it in life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not gonna be the thing that makes it in life. The thing that's gonna make it in life is us caring about each other and using it the correct way.
No doubt. Ain't no doubt. And we ain't talking about becoming a moist R&B singer, no shit like that. Like, we ain't talking about that. Like we talking about like we talking about balance, y'all. Like we talking about balance. You know what I mean? Because that's like when folks, when cats hear this conversation, they like, well, shit, where you going with it? I'm like, bro, you got to open up.
Yeah.
Because see, when you like when you take on or when you understand energy, like when you get into that spiritual space and you start understanding how the holistic process works, like, oh, that's why I kept running into so many roadblocks in life. I was doing that based on the chip that I had on my shoulder, based on the pain. So now I get it. Now, what I was really looking for was the love from my brother, or from that. That's what I was looking for. So when you learn that it's overcompensation, or that you're doing too much, or what you're really looking for is pain, or what you're really looking for is love when you're experiencing the pain and you running into doing all of the tough shit just because you're not getting the love, because my pops wasn't there, right? So that's one of the main reasons that I saw other brothers as rival, right? So I had love for my partners in the streets. I had love for my brothers, but my main problem was the fact that Pops wasn't there. So I ain't had nowhere to unload this to a man to teach a cub how to become a lion. You see what I mean?
I think when we go back to like, when you're talking about like teaching the youth and grabbing the youth, one of the reasons that we got to really get through it and overcome it is how we gonna tell them if we act like we too hard and we ain't never been through that.
Right.
If we ain't dealt with it, how can you really tell somebody that's 22 years old how to get with it? Because you ain't dealt with it, so you still walking around with it. So that's the part about talking about it and getting that stuff up out of you, because I can remember years I wouldn't talk about nothing, and I went to therapy, and don't be scared of that word. I went to therapy, and the activity that sister, she was a black woman, the activity she actually opened me up to doing, I never shut up. You know, I started to talk, and the more I started to get out, the better I started to feel. Damn, man, I should have been doing this 15 years ago.
See, I got something on that, but let me get to my brother Zach, man. Talk to him, Zach.
All right, so I just wanted to touch again on like everything, because
every time somebody say something, one thing, right?
Y'all hitting on points for real. Everybody in here, because like what you were saying, I'm with you on just recentering my mind. And people ask me, like, you mentioned you read a lot of books, bro. Like, I read a lot of damn books.
Right.
If I'm not here, bro, like I wish I could show y'all my library. I'm proud. That's my trophies. Like all the way from like Elijah Muhammad, all the way to Marimba Ani. Brother, like, he put me on Rudy, bro.
Yeah.
Man, and people ask me, like, why you reading so much sometimes? Or like, I'll tell you, like, one of my bros, he was like, bro, what's the move? Like, Saturday night, you put it on Twitter. I'll post it in the comment, read. Bro.
Word up.
People was like, LOL, no, but I was like, bro, you just don't get it. That is so essential to us.
No
like,
doubt.
Like, we the first persons to even put it in this crib. For sure. Like, so like, what are you getting away from your roots? And touching back on, like, again, shifting my mind, because like I'm starting to see when I'm playing into this game, you know, I'm seeing people play into it. I'm like, damn, that's your own destruction. You don't even know it.
Right.
So I love when you talked about like actually, in another word, meeting people where they are. You know, not necessarily coming at a certain energy,
right,
but coming that way. So like, one thing Marimba Ani talked about is like, let the circle be unbroken. Was how touching from religion to our music, it all comes back to Africa. It all has a certain beat. You know, we gotta find that beat. You know, like, as I think she's put in there, like, it's the job of the drummer to find the rhythm, the beat in the drum. Yep. Is Africa, and that's in every single one of those individual type of creations or manifestations that the diaspora has created. And I'm seeing it like, I needed this.
No doubt.
I went, man, if I had this when I was like 12, like when we met each other, if we would have had this continuously, man, I know, damn. Thank you.
It just makes you think how many people much more people you could have touched in that time.
Exactly.
It's okay, because that time's still coming. I'm still
I'm
here.
about to be home on me right now. You know what I mean?
Yep,
like,
bro.
shoot, I know you were worrying about it with me. I don't know if you know,
Right.
but I know.
Right.
And just the importance of the elders talking to us. Like I started calling the elders of the books my messiahs. like going from Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, all the way to like just now getting on Baruti and Mal, everybody. And I don't see how my peers don't see like the love that they have for it, because they didn't, like, Malcolm died without money. You know,
Right.
just watch how John Henry Clark was talking about with ASCAP in Egypt, and they interviewed him. He's talking about like my cataracts getting to me, but like I love reading. Like reading is my thing. He's like, it's kind of taking a toll on me, and it's just like, yeah, sacrifice. It's like we haven't learned that like all is one when it's all as above as below. Like we all together, like we are that cohesive unit, and like us sacrificing to one another is our freedom. You know,
Right.
and it's like,
Right.
damn, like it's got that individual. Like prison
Trying to
may
find
be
it.
that literal version of it that ostracizes you like that,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow.
Right.
It's all psychological. It's that intellectual stuff, you know.
Shoot, yeah, bro, it really is, man. And I'm coming to you, brothers, here. You talked about counseling,
Yeah.
and counseling is big. That's why I create these platforms, right? I do the arts and culture show once a month. I do different events with different people at different times.